Hello everyone, my name is Udi Sharabi and I am firearm instructor and self-defense instructor as well, which is Krav Maga, it's Israeli martial arts. Today we're going to talk about gun safety, which is very important. Most of the people carry gun or other firearms, rifle, whatever. They don't know all the rules and they don't know how to handle the gun, which they're making a lot of mistakes and they're putting themselves and the family in dangers. So in this class we're going to do a demonstration. We're going to show you what you can do, what you're not allowed to do, and how to be safe.
Alright, so before we talk about gun disarms and gun shooting and reloading and everything like that, first things first, we got to talk about gun safety. If we're not being safe with the guns, then we're just plain not being safe and we can't be doing anything without knowing how to handle the guns first. So when we're handling any guns, rule number one, all the time, treat all firearms as if they're loaded. If you don't know for sure, having just confirmed that the gun is in fact not loaded, then you must assume it's loaded. If you don't know, then assume it is. If somebody hands you a gun that you just handed them, check it. Make sure it's not loaded, because if it is loaded, you're in a world of hurt. Always keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction. Wherever you're standing at the range or wherever you're working, know where you're at, know your surroundings, know what's a safe direction, and keep your firearm pointed in that safe direction. You're not going to stand in a group with a bunch of other people all pointing your guns at each other. That's just asking for trouble. We're going to assume that the gun is loaded, but we're still not going to point it in a direction that's not safe. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Because of the fact that the gun is probably loaded, regardless of the fact that whether or not you already checked it, regardless of the fact that you're keeping your gun pointed in a safe direction, you want to keep your finger off the trigger because the final safety is you. So if you keep your finger off the trigger, then you can be that much more sure that the gun is not going to go off. Once you're ready to take your shot, at that point only, should you be putting your finger on the trigger. Be aware of your target and what's behind it. For our purposes, we're not talking about your intended target, we're talking about what the gun is pointed at. Whatever the gun is pointed at in your safe direction is the target, because that's where the bullet is going to go. Be sure of what you're pointing at before you touch that trigger, and be sure of what's behind it, because today's bullets will absolutely go through your target and will hit whatever's behind it. So you need to make sure that both your target and what's behind it are in the safe direction. Never try to catch a falling gun. If you're following rules 1, 2, 3, and 4, you'll let the gun hit the ground because it may be loaded, it's not pointed in a safe direction, your finger could hit the trigger if you try to catch it, and you absolutely don't know where it's going to go off, so you don't know what your target is or what's behind it. So never try to catch a falling gun. Jerk.
Okay, now we're going to check your knowledge about gun, because you don't have right now knowledge. We're starting the class. When you see this gun on the table, for you this gun is loaded?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. When taking the magazine out, putting the gun down, for you this gun is loaded?
Not
No.
sure.
No.
We don't know.
You don't know. You don't know that mean is loaded. Gun's always loaded until you make sure it's clear. Okay.
What about now? Is the gun loaded?
Yes.
Here's the bullet.
No.
How about now? Gun loaded?
No.
Magazine is empty.
Empty.
The gun is loaded right now?
No.
It should be, but
The gun always loaded. the long, see, it was just run of the chamber. When we check guns all the time, we have to make sure we keep the guns locked to the back. If you see gun locked to the back, you can see the window and the magazine, and you have to look also on the chamber. If you see this, you know it's clear and it's not loaded. When you operate your gun, make sure you're all the time on the safe direction, which is going to be the target area. Sometimes, this is why it's important to look, even if it's locked, it's important to look inside the chamber. Maybe your ejector broke, so you don't going to take the last shot. Maybe you have run in the chamber, so you want to clear, make sure it's nothing there. If it's dark room, put your finger, make sure it's nothing there. If you have flashlight, look with flashlight. Okay? So this is about the first thing. Make sure gun is loaded or not. Good. Okay, pick up the gun. Put the magazine in. Put one round in the chamber. Go to shooting position. What we do now is right?
Yes.
Yes? Look where I'm standing. I'm in front of the fire line. This means it's not safe. All the process he did, the gun was in front of me. As an instructor, I have to be behind them. Make sure nobody in front of your firearm. You want to make sure nobody in the side beside you, close enough, and nobody in front of you. Second thing, you have to make sure you're shooting to the target, which means recognize the target. When you're ready to shoot, when you see the target on your side, when you lock on the sight on the target, then it's time for you to shoot and fire. Okay. When we're about to shoot, the third rule we have, it's keep your finger off the trigger. It's like camera, when you're holding camera on your phone, or regular camera and you want to take picture. You're not just waving the camera and shooting all over. You want to make sure you put the person in frame. In our case is the sight. You put him on your sight. When you recognize the target, it's the only time you put your finger on the trigger and squeeze the trigger and shoot through the target. Okay? Good. Next. Okay. You all the time have to know what you have behind the target. Because maybe first you have to be like at least cement wall or sand or something like safe. If you shoot like in the house, or if you check your gun in the house and you have run in a chamber, you can't, example, point to a paper wall and if it go, you're gonna go through and go to the other room, and if somebody in the other room, you kill the other person. You shoot your TV, you shoot your dog, you shoot your friends. You never know. So all the time, shoot to the. You point the gun. You don't shoot. You point the gun to safe direction, which is a safe place. And the first thing you do, you wanna make sure it's clear, no ammunition inside. So this we're gonna work next. The last one is don't catch gun. If somebody throw me a gun, I'm gonna let the gun go, because in case I'm gonna try to catch the gun, maybe by catching the gun by mistake, I hit the trigger. By hitting the trigger, run, going out. So it doesn't matter which way I'm holding it. It can be me, it can be a person beside me, next to me, or even the wall, and it's going to be a ricochet and people can get hurt. So, dropping gun, you lift up your hands, let them go. Then pick it up, point to the safe direction, then take it out and do the process of clearing gun. Okay, now Mike going to demonstrate how to clear the gun, make sure the ammunition is not there. So the first thing, when you pick up the gun, you make sure the finger of the trigger above the trigger. Never over here, all the time above, because if it slides from here, it goes straight to the trigger. Second thing, we're taking the magazine out. You can put this either on your pinky, or if you have small hands, you can also put this on the table. Next move, you turn. First, the gun has to be all the time stay to the safe direction, which is the target area. You turn to sideways, you bring in the hands above the gun, never in the front of the gun, because you can get shot. Above the gun, you bring it above the gun, you lock it back, and you put your hands on the window like this, the round falling straight to your hands. Now, you put the ammo on the table, straightening up the gun, and look from inside. And now you can see it's clear. You can feel it if it's too dark. Then you release the slide and shoot. Okay, the last training thing on the safety is how to pass gun from one to each other, which is very important, how to hold it and make sure it's in the right way. So right now, Mike hold the gun to the safe direction, his finger off the trigger, of course. Now we're gonna go to the grip, lock the trigger bar from both sides, like this. No mistake, nobody can hold and go to the trigger. Now, you're gonna pass the gun to Igor, which is the gun gonna be straight in angle, and it's gonna be beside the body. Now Igor, pick up the gun in the right way, yes, and take the gun away from Mike. Nice. Now, give the gun to Brian. Turn, cover, the gun beside you, and nice. Turn, cover, nice. Turn, cover trigger, both sides. Make sure your fingers, if it's not long, your fingers right now inside the trigger. See the hole over here? By mistake you can push and hit the trigger. In case you have small hands, you have to hug the guns all the way, which I'm going to show in a second. Pass this away and finish. Now, in case of all this, if she has small hands and she want to pass me the gun, because I can twist it, cover, make sure it's beside me and not in the front of me, then I give her the gun beside her, not in the front of her. Now she picking the gun all the way up. Now for her to give me the gun, because she has small hands, switch. She's taking the hands now all the way and cover the trigger. It can be open. It can't be here. It has to be on the top. When it's on the top, it's cover the gun and we avoid any accident and other crazy stuff. So now I can go to ready position, pick up the gun and go. Now I'm pointing the gun to safe direction, and then I do the process of clear the gun, which is what we're going to do next. Right now we're going to show how to pick up the gun in the right way and how to hold the gun in the right way. So get close. Picking up the gun. 3, go on the grip. 1, above the trigger. Not close to here, above the trigger. And the 5th one, grabbing the other side. Now, after we make sure it's clear, release the slide. Shoot. Now it's clear. Now we're going to work on the grip. The way to grip the gun, hold this to the left. No. Like this.
Oh.
The way to grip the gun, for the first time, because you don't know yet, you open your hands in V shape. And the V shape, going all the way to the top, cover the whole gun. Make sure the bone is beside the gun, not in the back of the gun. Make sure this finger above the trigger, and then you have your first grip. Now continue pointing to the target area. Now we're going to add the second hands. Second hands, I'm going to cover the empty space. Cover the empty space, going around the fingers, and locked. And this is how we holding the gun in the right way. Second thing, how we using the sight. The sight, we have to show on the sight.
Yeah, come bring this
Come in behind. It's not good when you do the work. Okay, the sight. Explain over the sight. You have
The best way I can explain the sight,
level and center.
you're going to put the soccer ball in the soccer goal, line it up straight in center. So your sight picture should look like that. You want it flat and center as best you can. And the dot, the soccer ball, is going to go on the target. Best you can. Alright, so once we've confirmed the gun is or is not loaded, we're pointing in a safe direction, and we've identified our target and what's behind it, at that point, it's time to put our finger on the trigger. We're not going to use our whole finger. We're not going to wrap it around. We're going to use just the tip, the pad of the finger, right in the center. So that way when you're pulling the trigger with a nice, smooth, clean pull, it's just going to break nice and easy. You're not going to jerk the gun around. If you're wrapping your finger all the way around, you're going to be pulling the gun off to the side, you're going to be pulling the gun down, and you're not going to pull the trigger hard, you're not going to pull it quick, you're going to pull it nice and slow and let the gun surprise you. Otherwise you may wind up with jerky motions and your shots will be off.